Hello everyone and welcome to English4you channel. I'm Tom and today we have an exciting lesson lined up for you. We'll be talking about how to talk about past events in English, especially when you're telling stories. Everyone loves a good story and it's a great way to practice your English. Let's dive in. Hey Emily, how's your day going?
Oh, hey Tom. My day's been good, but you won't believe what happened this morning.
Oh, I'm curious now. What happened?
Well, I was on my way to work when I saw a street performer playing the violin. He was so good, and I couldn't help but stop and listen.
Wow, sounds like a nice surprise. What did you do next?
I stayed for a few songs and then I gave him a tip. But as I was walking away, I tripped and almost fell into a puddle.
Oh no, that's embarrassing. Did you manage to catch yourself?
Yes, luckily. I looked around to see if anyone saw me, and of course, there were a few people watching. But then, a stranger came over and asked if I was okay.
That's so nice of them. What happened after that?
I thanked them, and we ended up chatting for a bit. It turned into a pretty fun and unexpected morning.
Now let's take a look at the first phrase we heard today. I couldn't help but. This is a great phrase to express that you did something because you were unable to resist. In the story, Emily says, I couldn't help but stop and listen. It's a way of saying that something was so interesting or compelling that you had no choice but to do it. For example, I couldn't help but laugh when I heard that joke. This phrase makes you sound natural and is commonly used in everyday conversations. Next up, we have another useful phrase. I almost. This is a great phrase to talk about things that nearly happened but didn't. It's used when you want to describe something that was very close to happening, but in the end, it didn't. For example, you can say, I almost lost my wallet yesterday, or I almost missed my train this morning. It's a way to show that something could have gone wrong, but fortunately it didn't. Our final takeaway phrase is ended up. This is a great phrase for describing the outcome of something unexpected or different from what you planned. In the conversation, Emily says, we ended up chatting for a bit. It shows that despite the unexpected situation, tripping into the puddle, the outcome was positive and turned into something fun. For example, you might say, I ended up meeting a lot of new people at the party, or we ended up taking a different route to the park. It's a casual and useful way to talk about unexpected outcomes. Tom. Now let's take a deeper look at some grammar structures used in this lesson. Understanding how sentences are formed can help you use them more naturally in conversation. I couldn't help but is an example of a modal verb plus base verb construction. Couldn't is the negative form of can, modal verb, and help is the base verb, meaning to resist. This structure is used to describe something you did because you were unable to stop yourself. For example, I couldn't help but smile when I saw the puppy. Grammar tip. You can also use this with other verbs like I couldn't help but cry or I couldn't help but feel excited. I almost is a simple construction with the verb almost, followed by a verb in the base form. For example, I almost missed my flight. Grammar tip. This structure is commonly used in storytelling when talking about near misses. Ended up is an example of a phrasal verb. The verb end combined with up means that something unexpected happened. For example, we ended up staying at the beach until sunset. Grammar tip. You can use ended up to talk about things that weren't planned but happened anyway. Putting it together. Now let's put everything together and see how you can use these phrases in real-life conversations. Here's a simple example. I couldn't help but stop and listen to the street performer. I almost missed my train because of it, but I ended up having a great time. Exactly. Or maybe you could say, I couldn't help but laugh at that funny story. I almost spit out my drink, but I ended up being fine. This way, you're telling a story using natural phrases, and it makes your English sound more fluent and authentic. Let's also look at a common phrase that makes you sound more natural. What happened was. Instead of saying, this is what happened, or this happened to me, you can start by saying, what happened was. It's a more conversational way of telling a story. For example,
what happened was I was walking down the street, and then I saw a street performer.
It's simple, but it sounds more relaxed and casual. Outro. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson today. Remember, learning English is all about using real, everyday phrases so you can sound more natural and confident. Definitely check out our YouTube channel for more resources and helpful tips. We're always happy to answer any questions you might have.